right, Henry McClure Live. Look, we're kind of winding up there. See down there on the left?
Yes.
And there you go. You're live. Hey, welcome. What's the L stand for?
Lee.
James Lee Bolden Jr.
That's correct.
Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
So we're still doing the exploratory committee?
Oh, absolutely. It's exploratory at this time. Where's the camera at?
Right there.
Okay, very good.
Here, I'll put it up here too so you can see it.
Well, just let me know.
Yeah, but okay, so you got it. My job today is to stay on point, right? And not go down rabbit holes. So what do we want to talk about first?
Well, you're talking. Where's the camera here?
Yeah, right straight
Okay.
ahead of you.
Okay, we're talking about the same thing. We're not changing topics. We're staying on point. In regard to the same people are running things. The money is going through the same hands. And it will continue to go through the same hands because it's called politics. If I'm feeding your hand and I'm feeding your hand, and they're feeding these hands out here, then they're going to continue to vote for those people who will feed them.
Right.
Would you agree with that, Henry?
100%.
Okay. And so in order to change what's happening, we need about 40,000 people that will stand up for change. The change will be, as it says in the city public works, that the mayor's position is fulfilled when the people are dancing in the streets. Would you agree with that, Henry?
Well, I don't know, but I like dancing in the streets.
Okay.
I mean,
We're
no,
gonna-
I get the theory of
Right,
it that,
right.
that we're all so happy
Yes.
that there's joy in our hearts
Yes.
as Topekans.
That is correct. And not just the rich and enabled, which I don't have anything against them, but even the people that are homeless. When we can get them dancing, we've done something. Topeka can rejoice. We can be put on the map in a positive light. Go ahead, Henry.
So no, wait. Is this in? You said public works. Is this in our charters? What you're really talking about? The charter that lays out what the mayor's duties are,
Well, no, the public works.
or is this? Are you talking like from 10,000 feet spiritually? You know.
Well, public works is the agency that co-compliance and those things.
Okay.
Yes, public works. I used to clean that building. That's why I know.
Okay.
I seen the writings on the wall.
Yeah.
And that's what they said. That's
Oh,
what
the writing is on the wall.
Yes.
Look, I got the writing on the wall.
Yes.
But I'm not gonna say I was gonna change the subject right then.
Well, you're
Well,
on
no,
point.
because what it has to
Mhm.
do, the writing on the wall, it has to do with the politicians feeding and the money circulating. See, I think that once Cook lost his big contract from the city of being the public defender, that somebody from the chamber or the Greater Topeka Partnership or one of the board members of Go Topeka or Visit Topeka, one of those board members in that club will give him a job
Well,
because they take care of themselves.
well, and as long as that establishment.
You got it. We got it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I want to make sure that you're close this time because
Okay.
some people commented that you were a little harder to hear
Okay. Well, I speak softly.
and carry a big stick. I like your yellow.
Well, thank you.
You look
sir.
good. You came in with a good attitude.
Well, thank you, sir. I been put a radiator in my truck this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just finished that up here not too long ago,
All right.
and just enough time to get a shower. Sorry, being a little late.
No.
But,
I had the Deb Goodrich on the show,
that's wonderful.
and we didn't talk about politics.
Right.
And I'm willing to talk about politics.
Well, we must talk about politics if we are to make any changes. There are two politicians. One politician, which is me, is for the people. The other politicians, Henry, who are they for?
Themselves.
Okay, very good. Very good, Henry.
Well, or they're for those that put them in office.
Well, it's still themselves, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but there are a lot of
Go
politicians
ahead.
that it's like when I look at Bill Clinton's early career, that his career was about the power. He liked being in power, and those that put him in power, he made sure that they profited from it.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what I'm telling you,
Mm-hmm.
is I think that what's going on the national level
Mm-hmm.
is the biggest shakeup we've had ever.
Well, absolutely.
Ever.
Absolutely. And we're all spinning our heads trying to figure out where it's going to land.
Well, and your head's going to spin for a while. But what I'm saying is some of the, let's say, fraud and corruption
Mm-hmm.
and malfeasance of government,
Mm-hmm.
it exists right here in Topeka.
That is correct.
And what I've had trouble doing is, they paint me, when I was running for city council,
Mm-hmm.
they painted me as being crazy and,
Well, that's what they do.
and an alcoholic and all this stuff
Well,
and,
that's what they do.
and
That-
unstable.
Well, that is.
Well, they got to
normal.
do that to make themselves feel better.
Well, they got to lift themselves up by pushing you down. And that is different than what we're going to do. We're not going to push anybody down.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your regime.
Okay.
What's the first thing you want to change as mayor?
Well, that's a very good question. I have a lot of things in mind.
Now, you've said one thing. Can I?
Go ahead.
You've said what's most important is we get the people involved. How are we going to engage the people? We got to get them to vote. We got to get them out to vote.
Well, I'm hoping that what we're doing today will engage the people. I'm hoping that we can be here at 1:00, JB and Henry, on a Saturday, if it fits your schedule, where the people can tell their people to engage
To tune in.
to the Henry McClure live show. And once we do that, then we can begin to engage the people. We must be consistent. Now, one of the ways, and I know we talked about this last week, but I'll just go over it quickly here. We do not need the city does not need to embrace a hotel and pay all its bills, especially when they're in debt.
Did you know the city? Well,
Go ahead.
I think the city manager was recommending that they operate the hotel because cities operate one in Dallas, but I don't think it's a debt issue. I think it's the city ought to stay out of the hotel business because it's not their place. We got to let free enterprise, let the market decide who's going to own the hotel.
That's correct.
Let the chips fall where they may.
Now, he said in Dallas they own a hotel.
This
the
is
city?
this is just for my intelligence.
Okay.
But
well,
you hit on
well,
something really interesting.
well, we are not Dallas, number one,
Yeah.
and we don't have the money of Texas, number two. So we but did he tell you which hotel they own?
No, I'm getting this secondhand.
Okay. Well,
But you're talking about the debt.
yes.
You know,
And if you Google, and that's all I've done, is that the city has a lot of debt. They have more debt than they have revenues.
$500 million.
That's what I read.
$500 million in debt.
That's what I read.
So if you figure the interest rate, let's figure the debt. They're going to have better they're going to have better bonds and different interest rates. And, they might have been able to borrow money at 3% or 4%, 5%. It all depends on the time. And you never know, there might be short-term debt that has higher interest rates, and maybe some of the long-term debt. But also, too, when you're considering the debt,
Yes.
you're also paying principal.
Yes.
But let's just use an average of 6% of our debt.
Okay.
That would make a $2,500,000 monthly payment to our debt.
Okay.
If you just float 6%,
Very
and that
good.
includes
Very
some, just something to talk
good.
about.
Very good.
So that's almost $84,000 a day just to pay our debt.
Right. Now, I want the viewers to know that none of this is pre-recorded. Henry, what time did I get here, Henry?
I don't know. I got a real bad concept of time.
And I was late.
You're never late.
And Henry started it up. It's not pre-recorded. So
what you're saying is we didn't prep. This is all just coming off the top of our head.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And we have some of the same concerns about your city. And we're trying
our city.
Okay, very good.
It's ours.
Yes.
It's not just
I stand corrected.
Cody Foster's or Jim Klossman's or the great Matt Pavarnak or Molly Howie or Go Topeka chairman. You know what really made me angry at the last JETO meeting?
No.
The fact that the JETO meetings aren't open to the public, the board meetings. So you've got a non-government organization, NGO, deciding where our tax dollars go, and we can't get in and hear it.
Now, when you say the board meetings, are you
referring the board meetings?
The meetings that you and I met in?
No.
Oh, that's a different meeting you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Oh, I see.
See, Go Topeka has a contract.
Right.
And you'll find this out when you start going door to door to people. They have no idea what JETO is, the Joint Economic Development Organization.
Well, that's why they have us here, to inform them.
Sometimes I just feel like it's starting over every time.
Well, again, this is exploratory because I'm up in age now, and this is a young man's job.
Oh, I don't think so.
Well, I mean, we have the experience.
That's why they call them city fathers.
Yeah, but I love doing what I do, in my business. And speaking of business, what I'm trying to say today is that the half-cent sales tax now was up for interpretation. And I say up for interpretation on how you would recommend that it would be used. Well, it appears to me that the chamber, the Go Topeka, the Greater Topeka Chamber, and what's the third organization?
Well, you've got the Greater Topeka Partnership that oversees the whole cabal.
I see.
So they oversee Go Topeka, Visit Topeka, Downtown Topeka, and probably something else that we don't know about.
Yes. Now these individuals are our business leaders.
Not really.
Huh?
I mean, Matt Pavarnak's not.
Well, I'm talking about the chamber.
Yeah.
Because the chamber is who is running things, isn't it?
The Chamber of Commerce and that cabal runs the whole shoot match. They run government.
And there are business leaders.
They put the politicians in place.
Now that is correct. And so I don't have a fighting chance in you know what. So
don't give up.
Well, I don't say I give up. I'm just saying, with those odds that you're referring to, that's why the people will have to tune in and join in.
So I got 9,413 votes besides me.
And that was wonderful.
And I thank you guys.
Yes, that was wonderful. I was ecstatic. I don't know about you, but I was ecstatic, that you was able to do that.
The only upside to that was I didn't have to quit the real estate business, which is my life,
Right.
because I wanted to let the voters know that I was willing to set my real estate business aside. I mean, look at all that I got going on.
Yeah, you've got a lot
And
going
that
on.
I got more than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And I've got a lot going on.
yeah,
You know, I've been doing for 25 years my business, and I haven't had the Henry's been talking about this 9.2 million. We'll get into that a little bit later, but I haven't had the 9.2 million invested in my business to grow. And these are your major businesses, and I'm not sure what that was used for, so I'm not going to go into that. However, I asked a question to Henry. I said, Henry, do you believe that when the taxpayers invest their money into a project, should that benefit the citizens? And you said no. Is that correct?
no. If we're gonna like the sales tax dollars that are collected for economic development and the roads, it should benefit everybody, not one guy.
That is correct.
And what they're doing now
That is correct.
that
is correct.
Molly Howie at Go Topeka is which is an NGO. She's given away our taxpayer dollar sales tax like a charity.
And I'm a witness to that.
Yeah.
I've stood in a few meetings.
Yeah. So she's handing out money, and
But
then
she can't hand it out.
well, yeah,
without,
she can.
She can't hand it out without the county commissioners, without the city council,
Jetto.
without the city council members that have been elected to represent your city. She can hand it out, but they have to vote and approve it. And I've seen them vote and approve it.
Yeah, they're
so and when they voted and approved it, I've seen. I won't say any names right now. He's supposedly be throwing his hat in soon.
Who? Spencer Duncan?
Well, I'm not saying any names right now.
Well, because he's announced.
However, he indicated at a meeting that he was not aware of exactly what a small business is. Was you there that day?
Yeah, I was there.
Was you there that day?
Yeah.
now this is a businessman. It's been around a little while now. I am a businessman that started out years ago with my father, and I've had his upbringing, and I started my business in around 2001 officially, and I've been going ever since. Hard work, beautiful Topekans like yourself that have called me up and retained my services. And that's how we got here where we're at today. So if I can give back to the citizens, if I can give back to the city, because it's a beautiful city, you have beautiful citizens. But the problem right now is, Henry, and I need your help with this, is how are we going to keep those people who have the tax dollars and who are getting the tax dollars, who are going to vote for the people who are going to continue to give them the tax dollars? How are we going to keep their hands off of it? And my only answer is we must get 40,000 people to vote. Go ahead, Henry.
Well, charity starts at home. And you shouldn't be taxed so the government can decide what charity is. You should have more money in your pocket so you can decide where you want to give your charitable dollars. And that's what we're doing right now is we're being charged sales tax, and we're giving it to Go Topeka, and they spend $2.5 million in overhead.
And that is.
And did you see little Israel the other day? He couldn't even finish his presentation the other day. And you know something, Israel, get a job. And we got to tell everybody at Go Topeka to get a job.
Well,
See, I'm for taking all the money away
Okay.
and put it into infrastructure.
Okay.
Let's have better streets.
Well,
Let's have clean water.
it is funny to me how we have had where the main function of these funds that we voted for in 2001 was to improve the streets. Now, if I was able to run and be elected, I would look at the streets of Wichita. I would look at the streets of Lawrence. And I would say, okay, we need to get these contractors that you've been giving these funds to for the past 30 years out of here and get some contractors in here that's going to benefit the citizens of Topeka.
You know, I think we're going to have a guest on the show that's going to talk about 29th Street and the construction there.
Very good.
And I think
Very
Mike
good.
is going to come on the
Very
show.
good.
He owns the Dairy Queen down there.
Very good.
And and I just did the protested the taxes, and I said something wrong to the appraiser guy, Steve, and not the main appraiser, but I insulted him, and then Henry opened his mouth, and now because this is a town of retribution, they'll retaliate against you. They'll and I can tell you about a city council person that is throwing my name around, and this has got to stop. That's why I want to replace not only the mayor, I want to replace everybody on city council. They're the one that got us in this mess, and there's got to be accountability. You can't, if you did one thing right over here, that doesn't mean you get to do 10 things wrong. I don't care if you did 10 things right, you don't, the one thing wrong, because this is our money. This is not their money.
You can't have accountability when you don't have the qualifications. If you're going to approve a construction contract, you must have some insights on how the process works. And I've sit in a JADO board meetings where I understood. I've been in the construction business for 20 years now. I've served on the federal level. I've had contracts federal level, and I've had contracts on the city and of the state, not necessarily construction city and state, but federal level construction contracts. The private world is where I work at now. And you must have some knowledge, and I give all glory to the Lord to begin with. I must get that out too, because I did not plan to go into the construction area. But when you follow Jesus and you remove self, then you end up going places that you never dreamed of. And so, Henry, when you see self get in the way, I would ask you just tap me or slap me on the back of the head or something. You know, and say, remove self, JB. Because
Well, so that's interesting you say that, because so my whole
let
life,
the Lord have control.
so I've renovated. I never really kept track of it, but probably maybe $400 million worth of projects.
Yes, sir.
Huge projects, but because I haven't really walked around bragging about it, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I haven't. Plus, if you know,
But it's good to know those things.
well, yeah.
See, I knew of what you referred to me, and then I knew of the College Hill project, and I know that was a big project.
Well, yeah, and then the city was the worst. The city of Topeka was the worst project, and that's the thing that Karen Hiller always
now,
looks.
you've done projects in California with some of your partners.
I'm gonna tell you about my best project here in a minute,
Yes,
but
sir.
I want
Go
to
ahead.
talk about College Hill.
Go ahead.
Because that Karen Hiller looks down the end of her nose at me about College Hill all the time. And so, yes, there is a shortfall in the TIF bonds. But the city didn't record the TIF agreement or the development agreement. They didn't help me get Jerry Morgan out of the way. You know, we paid $250,000 to fix the sewer. We had to sue the guy so we could go in and fix the sewer to remove the Johnny on the job. And the city of Topeka, they have no balls. They have no balls.
Was this the time during the city tax half cent sales tax was in place?
Well,
the quarter cent sales tax?
Yeah.
It was in place.
Yeah, they didn't give us any money. That didn't create any jobs. You know, that's one thing Miss Congeniality, Molly Howie's always said. Well, Henry, your deal doesn't create jobs.
Well, the key is.
Now, hang on a second here.
No, go ahead.
So,
go ahead.
So real quickly. So what's the first thing the city manager says the other day when he's got a $15 million shortfall? Well, we ought to just add more sales tax.
Correct.
Well, hell, if you're going to add more sales tax, you ought to add more retailers that pay sales tax.
Well, doesn't the hotel pay taxes?
Well, yeah, but let's talk about, forget the hotel for a second.
Okay.
Let's talk about developing another Home Depot in this market, or attracting, like Chick-fil-A. They had 85 new people working there. The Whataburger. Look, those aren't the most glamorous of jobs. But what the hell's the difference in a guy moving boxes out at Target than flipping a burger? It's all making America go around.
Well, what I'm looking at is more technical jobs. I believe we have.
But is there a market for that here? So that's why this biohazard.
I'm used to creating a market. That's what I do. I creating a market.
Yeah, well, Topeka's tried that since I was born.
Well, they didn't have me there.
Well, how are you going to create a market? What are you going to create a market on?
Well, you must talk to some of those tech companies in Silicon Valley.
But do we have? Well, we could.
Go ahead and ask a question.
Well, but do we have the workforce to fill it? See, here's the problem.
That's where WIT comes. That's where
we don't have. We only have like 3% unemployment. Hell, if we were smart, we'd bring in another company like Advisors Excel and let Cody Foster figure out what it's like to scramble for jobs.
We need to be on the edge of technology.
We do.
We need to be on the edge of technology.
Well, and I think the way Gavin Newsom's running California, people are leaving California in droves. But there's no reason to come to Topeka, Kansas.
Well, we have to make a reason. And this is where
you know what the reason is? You have nice streets, clean water, and we have a good attitude about living here.
That is correct.
And we don't promote that because we have an inferiority complex in Topeka. You know, we're trying to be something we're not. We're always, I don't like the idea of making a market, you know.
Well, Henry, let me share something with you. Some of the viewers out there know the Mama Pearl's original sweet potato pie. Me and my mother had created the Mama Pearl's original sweet potato pie that was in all the Dillon stores here. We was in the Kansas City area, but we couldn't get the support of some of these agencies. The Kansas Board of Agriculture was in Topeka at that time. We couldn't get the support.
Would you talk to the guest real quick?
Well,
hang on. I just want to see who called.
Yeah,
what if it's an emergency?
You go right ahead.
Hey, I'm a small business, and I live by the deal.
I understand. You take the call, Henry. First of all, again.
I can't take. I'll call that guy back later.
You'll call him.
But I live by the deal.
Well, absolutely, we all do.
And that's why my phone. That's what those fat cat government dudes.
But
they don't understand living by the deal.
But we can, and that's what I'm saying to you. We created a market for that sweet potato pie because the reason it was created is because my mother had made them at home.
I could live on sweet potatoes.
See?
Have you ever had a Japanese sweet potato?
And when my mother made them at home after I left home as an adult, then you couldn't find them in the stores. And so I just took up this wild notion because I feel as though if you have the Lord behind you, nothing is impossible. See, that's the difference that I bring to the table, Henry. That's the difference than the people that are in City Hall today. See, I bring the Lord to the table and I bring his wisdom to the table. We had put the sweet potato pie out there, and we had people like yourself that said, "Oh, I love sweet potato pie." The gentleman at the Brookwood, not Brookwood, but the where Dylan's at is on 29th and Fairlawn. What's the name of that shopping center?
Fairlawn Plaza.
The Fairlawn Plaza owner
Yeah, Ron Austin.
came to our restaurant with his family.
Mm-hmm.
We had a painter that painted to New York. He was the one who brought him there. This was a big deal because she had best. It's better than Natalie Coles or who are those other people. It's better than any sweet potato pie out there.
Okay, but let me
Go ahead.
reel you in for a minute, Mr. Mayor.
No,
Hang on. Is it government's job to create a market?
It's an entrepreneur's job.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What's the best way to make it easy for an entrepreneur to do business?
Well, you want to open your arms up to them, first of all.
So could we say less regulation?
Well, I don't know how much regulation is there. All I know is that the money is going to the big corporations.
Okay.
The big corporations is where the money is going. It's going to the corporations.
So are you saying it's not an even playing field?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
and why can't they make a living like I do? I don't get any $9 million grants.
$9.2 million grant to one of the richest guys in town.
I sit in the JADO board meeting where they gave $250,000 grant.
You know what?
And after they gave the $250,000 grant, the company said it would have the work started in September of last year. So, and when September came, there was no work started.
Let's talk about the mayor for a minute.
I've seen $1 million given out through the current JADO board, $1 million given out for the Wolf camera shop. And
no, hang on. He invested $1 million.
Well, the government gave him $1 million. I was there to see it.
Are you sure?
Grants.
Well, we'll look into that because.
Yeah,
but let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Wolf camera deal. So I've got the BioRealty, and I've talked to the BioRealty guy, and the BioRealty guy says that Molly Howie was responsible for the leasing. She couldn't do it, and they're calling this the Laboratory 2.0. But there's not a market for the laboratories. They think they're going to create a place for research and development, and it's all a bunch of bullshit. It's not going to work here. And if it were going to work here, let Cody Foster do it on his independent nickel. If a business already starts off needing government subsidy, it's the wrong business. Look, I love Cody Foster for I hear he's one of the best guys to work for. You know, over on Huntoon by Skinny's, that area.
I think I will take some water.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Yeah, you are. I didn't realize I'd be talking this much.
So listen to this. You know, I think he provides free medical for his people. I mean, I think he's a great guy, and you should never count another guy's money. But the money I'm counting ain't his money. You know, he put in a nice hotel. He can run a taco stand, and he's got a brewery. Yeah, great. That's all great. It's all well and good. But enough. Just because you did all those good things doesn't mean you get $9.5 million because you bought a building and your real estate company wasn't smart enough to how to do something. And so any business that starts off with soaking the taxpayers for $9.2 million is wrong. and nobody's standing up to the guy.
This was $1 million that was put into that company that you're referring to.
Well, we're gonna do some research on the Bioreality guy.
Well, I've
talked to him on the phone. You talked to him on the phone?
I don't need to talk to him on the phone.
Yeah, you do.
I don't think I do.
I think you do.
Because
I think you're wrong. I don't think they got $1 million in Go Topeka grant. I don't know. Let's find out. I really don't. I know that he invested $1 million, but here's the point. It didn't work then.
What did he invest $1 million in?
Buying the real estate.
And the building just sits there.
Yeah. Because they weren't able to get the idea, the same idea that they're giving this dude.
You're saying that building cost $1 million?
Well, a bunch of them.
Okay.
And he did some renovations, but he's...
Okay, well, why hadn't he finished the renovation, Henry?
Jim, I don't know. I really don't know everything. But because there weren't tenants that wanted to take the space.
They haven't did any renovation, Henry.
But they couldn't get people to take the space because the idea sucked.
And how much did the city give them, Henry?
I don't know exactly.
Well, you was there at the meeting that morning.
Well, I forgot.
Well, I didn't.
And you saw him get $1 million.
He got 250 that day.
Okay, well that's not $1 million.
It added up because he already got $750,000 already. They was 2 years behind on the project, Henry.
Well, because Molly Howie didn't do the leasing.
I don't know, but when you're 2 years behind.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to learn all about it, and we'll do a show completely on that deal. I'll try to get the Bioreality guy to be in on the show.
Well, you can bring him in. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll be here. Now, when you are late on a project.
But here's the point.
Let me say this, Henry. When you are late on a project in the real world.
This is the real world.
In the federal government.
Right.
That's the real world. Then if you are late on the project, and I've been on projects, I'm telling you, you will end up having to pay the federal government money because you're late. See? The reason why they had that meeting that day before JADO, because JADO indicated that we don't know if we want to give you this money because you're already 2 years behind. So we don't know if we want to give you this money.
Why were they 2 years behind? Why were they 2 years behind?
You have to ask the Bioreality.
I did.
What did he tell you?
It's because Molly Howie didn't bring him any tenants.
Well, okay. The point is.
No, you know what the real point is?
Well,
they shouldn't have stuck their nose in it in the first place.
Well, the point is that's $750,000 taxpayer dollars that have just been what?
You got to keep it up.
$750,000 taxpayer dollars that have just been what?
It's a popcorn fart. Just evaporated.
So
but I don't know. I want to know more about it. I don't know everything
I'll leave
about
that alone. I'll leave that alone.
Well, you want to talk about money? How about $2.1 million on a full set of architectural plans engineered to build a road from Wanamaker at 37th or Wanamaker at 41st Street that would connect at 37th and Gage.
Okay.
And they shelved that idea.
What do you mean they shelved it?
They're not going to do it.
Well, who gave them the money, Henry?
The taxpayers.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to get to. That's what I'm trying to get to. Taxpayers' money is being shoved out, and they're not getting anything in return.
What do you want to really talk about today? How are we going to engage people? How are we going to get the 40,000 people?
I'm talking about what I want to talk about today, Henry. And I don't know if people are interested or not.
Well, no, I don't think they are.
Well, if they're not interested, then,
you know why? You know why they're not? Because they keep putting the same people back in.
Well, that's why I said.
You know why? They don't think
40,000
right
additional people involved. Now, if we can't do that, I'm wasting my time. And my time is, I can do other things with my time.
I know, but how are we going to get that 40,000?
By doing what we're doing here today.
I don't think it's enough.
40,000?
I don't think this is enough.
Well, we have to have faith, Henry. I was talking to my wife before I left. She said, you have to have faith. Take it one step at a time. And she's a very wise woman. And I'm hoping that the people that are watching here will tell their buddies or friends or wives or daughters or sons, because it's your children that are coming up with ideas that should get involved, white, black, brown, it doesn't matter with me. I love all God's people. I'm not going to cherry pick. If you're God's people and you love the Lord, then you've got me. Now, it's the underdog that Topeka has always, or the country has always lifted up. Donald Trump became the president because he convinced the country that he was the underdog. Would you agree with that? That's the way I seen it anyhow.
Well,
so,
yeah.
Okay.
I'll go with that.
Okay. People love the underdog, and we are the underdog, and time is running out for me anyhow.
Why do you
but
say
I
that?
want because I'm in my 60s.
So what?
Well, anyhow, I don't know when the Lord's going to take me. It could be tomorrow. It could be tonight.
Dr. Gundry says you're supposed to be living to be 125.
Yeah, well, how many
We're
people do
halfway
that?
there.
Now.
Well, look at our Social Security rolls.
Reality. Yeah. Reality.
Look at our Social Security rolls right now. They got people in 150 years old that are getting Social Security checks.
All right, I guess I need to be humored there.
But it's true.
I'm a little bit too excited then. Okay, well, very good.
It's
good.
true.
I'll back off a little
Well,
bit.
yeah, because of the fraud, waste, and abuse.
I'll back off a little bit.
You know what I like about Trump? He's going to go
Well,
in there and play by the rules.
Yeah, I didn't want to take it that way. I just mentioned that. I apologize for going there because that was me that got off track.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, but you know what?
Yes.
You need that attitude to change Topeka.
Well, I've always wanted Topeka to be great. And I've run up against obstacles. Not only have I run up against obstacles, it was mentioned the other day about the NTA guy. I think you might have mentioned it. It might have been the PBS program that comes on, where they have the people from Washburn. I watched that the other day. But my father was the president of Mid-America Aviation for 36 years. And I've watched his struggles. He wanted to run for Senate. I told you that, didn't I?
No.
Senator. And what's happening is, it's kind of like you said, Henry, it's going to be a dogfight for somebody else to be able to be able to get in.
Well, yeah, because you're gonna have to tell
and I don't know
the electorate.
I don't know if I have it in me.
You're gonna have to tell the electorate that Ryan Duncan got us here. He's one of the guys that got us in debt. Look, let's talk about selective. Who's going to pay taxes? His dad is actually suing the county for the revenue neutral. We got lawsuits. Look at all the lawsuits that are going on with the city and the payouts because they don't know how to run the city. And Topeka's a business. And we ought to promote from within. We ought to promote people from within. We got way too many, hey, if Braxton Copley is going to run this city without the title, well, get rid of the other salaries.
So, like I say, I don't know if I'm the man or not, but I am trying. I am stepping up, and I'm hoping that more people will step up.
What you got to do, if you really want to step up, go put your name on the ballot.
Well,
go in on Monday.
As I said earlier, this is exploratory only right now.
But look, you can do it now. So if you go put your name on the ballot on Monday, your name's on the ballot. It's $50.
I haven't. That's not a problem with the $50. The problem is, I have other priorities you have no idea of.
Okay, but look, all I'm saying,
like you have those on the board there.
You can put your name on the ballot and then wing it.
Well,
At least
well,
you're an alternative. You're
well,
there.
well, you may be better qualified than I. I know you had mentioned it at one time. What I'm saying
Well, I'm going to
is,
tell you something.
what I'm here today to say is that we've got problems in this city, and anyone can step up. I've been blessed to have the opportunity to take time out to go to these jail board meetings because I'm self-employed. Henry's had opportunity because he's self-employed. If you work an 8-hour job, it's difficult to go to these meetings. Work an 8-hour job, take care of your family, and go to these meetings. So we're here today to say that what we're saying.
We need to have people in districts 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. We need to have a whole slate of city council people and a new mayor. Look, Mike Padilla is a good guy, but he was I think the highest he got in rank was a major in the police department. When I came here, he was riding around in a Crown Vic as a security guard at White Lakes. He's a chum, he's a good guy. He's a guy you have a beer with and go bowling and whatever. But he's not the leader of our community. Neither was Bill Bunton. Bill Bunton was not a lead. He was a political hack.
What do you consider a leader, Henry?
Well, a guy that knows what a small business is.
And why is that?
All you got to do.
A guy with why is that you figure a guy with small business is a leader?
No, a guy that knows what a small business is.
Why do you consider that a leader?
Well, because if you don't know if it's a fish or a fowl, you don't know. How could you make it easier for that guy to develop or be a part of this community?
So what you're saying is, in order to run the city, you must know something about business.
Well, yeah, because it is a business.
It is. You're saying it is a business.
The city is a business, whether you like it or not.
It is a business.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be in business of being in business. It should make sure that there's plenty of people in the fire department, plenty of people that you got a good fire chief, you got a good police chief, that you've got a good director of public works, that you've got a good planning department. You ought to also be smart enough to know, well, our city really is much bigger than within our city limits. So I need to work with my county commissioners to create the community to have one. I should work with the people. I should know the mayor of Auburn, and I should know what's going on over in Rossville. And a leader is more of a guy that can point you in the right direction. But you're not out there buying hotels and taking gold pins from the Chinese.
How about truth and righteousness? Is that part of a leader?
Well, you should be born with it, because you can't. It's not. It's it comes from your genes. You can't learn it. Yeah,
Okay.
truthfulness.
Okay, very good. Now,
You know what I love about the real estate business
Mhm.
is all you got to do is be honest.
Now, one of the things that I would foresee, which happened back in my early days, it was called the Expo Center in my early days.
It's called the fairgrounds when I was a kid.
Yes, I've heard that one too. I was here then too, and now it's called the Stormont Vale.
I won't call it that because I think it's bullshit. Think about, do you get free health care? They shouldn't be given the community naming rights. Look, it's all a part of the slush fund. It should be called the Topeka Center or Shawnee County, Topeka Shawnee County Convention Hall.
Well, where I was going, Henry, was it's okay to have cattle rustlers. It's okay to have the stock cars where they ram into each other and stuff.
Think about the demo derby.
The demo derby.
Yeah, we're
It's
hillbillies.
Okay. Well, it's okay for hillbilly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's okay.
But we don't need to have an
but-
outside company running for the hillbillies to come watch cars run into each
Well,
other.
if they're the agent and if they're the ones putting it together,
Anybody can do it.
But my point is this.
I'll tell you, I could make you the head of that convention hall. You could do it.
Well, this is my point. This is my point.
Yeah.
That
I'll let you make it.
that there are also what we call city people here in Topeka.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
we have people. People come from Osage, come here to the city.
Oh, to the big city.
That's right.
To make, yeah.
That's right. Believe it or not. And so, without putting too much out there, because I know that is listening. The other side, I'll say, is listening. But
They do listen.
oh yeah, they're listening. But I'm going to put it out there anyhow. But what would be wrong with having? And people will say, "Well, oh, you can't do that." Taylor Swift come here. What would be wrong with that? She probably wouldn't. They would have to get her agent. Somebody get her agent, and there'd be another. Travis Kelce may ask her to come. So what I'm saying is, I would bring excitement to this city to where it used to be.
But listen to this.
Go ahead.
So the guy that's running the expo center,
Go ahead.
they're not from Topeka.
I'm not done, Henry, but go ahead.
They're not from Topeka. They're an outside company, and they can't do their job. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm about done, Henry. That was
You
the
mean
last-
about done with the show?
Yeah, I'm about done.
You can only take so much of me, can you?
Well, it's not you, Henry. I mean,
It's the energy.
I have my ideas, and
Well-
I've shared a lot
well,
of
let's
them.
let
Now, if
more
you
of
have
them
some
out.
Now, if you have some questions, you can question me, and I may have some answers.
How are you going to raise money?
Raise money?
Yeah.
Well, Henry, when it comes to raising money, my number one question, and you answered this the last show, is what do you need money for? Well, the
To
thing
fight the machine.
the key with fighting the machine, Henry, and I'm going to say this for a third time. The key with fighting the machine is votes. Votes. If we can get 40,000 votes, we can beat the machine. We can make the machine nervous. The machine is nervous today. When we appeared here last week, the machine got nervous. And they're laughing.
No, really?
Yes, I've seen it. I'm seeing it. The Lord is showing me these
You mean
things.
from our show?
From this show.
Woo!
You've got the people down. You've got the people that are in charge.
There. Is it a wake-up call?
Well, you've got the guy down there. Used to be the planning commissioner. He's now teaching out at Washburn. What's his name?
Bill Finder.
Yes.
He commented about
He
it.
hasn't commented, but he's watching.
Hey, Bill. You know, he's out there poisoning young men. You know, really.
What do you mean?
Well, first, number one, I like Bill Finder as a human.
Yeah, I have no problem.
Yeah,
with
he's
it.
a good guy.
I have no problem with it.
Well, because I don't think there was something.
He sat around and allowed them.
No, he was right. He was right about.
To take my housing.
He was right about infill housing.
Okay, very good.
There's some things he's right about,
Okay.
but he was wrong about saying that the Bark Park was economic development.
Okay.
And but that's a whole story.
Yeah.
But how do you know Bill's watching?
Well, that's just my intuitiveness. To be honest with you, that's my intuitiveness. People are watching the show. People are watching the show.
1.5 million people stop by my page if you analyze my view.
People are watching the show. And so what I'm saying is they're taking ideas from the show.
Well, so then if we could figure out how to get 40,000 people.
That's all.
That's a big number. Somebody told me that
That's a big number.
the mayor, was it you that said the mayor only got 10,000 votes?
That was me.
Well, let's give you credit for that one.
See,
10,000 votes.
that's what I read on the internet.
Huh. How many did, well,
Who
who?
got less than? Whoever else got less than that. People, and that's what I'm saying, people are not engaged. And it's our responsibility to engage the people. And if people still are not engaged, then, me and my wife will go off somewhere, and I'm sure you and yours will go off somewhere else and
I'm
enjoy the rest
looking
of
for
life.
a new wife. I'll go
Yeah,
back to
yeah,
jail
yeah,
again.
yeah. You move off maybe back to California somewhere.
No,
Not California.
no, I'm home.
You're home for a
No,
while.
I am home.
For a while.
No, I'm home.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
No, I made a
Henry,
decision.
you've traveled around. You've told me how much you've traveled around.
Oh, man.
And home is.
Can I tell you my best renovation ever?
Go ahead.
So, and I've always loved history. So, Eddie DeBartolo used to work for Lucky Luciano, and he was a contractor, and he built horse tracks for Lucky, and he did a lot of construction projects for Lucky Luciano. So, Cafaro is out there building the malls, and Eddie's looking at Cafaro. They're in Youngstown, Ohio, and Eddie's no dummy. He starts getting in the mall business. So the very first mall he built down in Florida was up on Hillsborough Road in Tampa, Florida. And I was going to work I was working at the time for John Hancock.
Okay.
And they had just got back that mall because it was a non-recourse loan.
Mm-hmm.
So DeBartolo just gave it back to the lender
Yeah.
because they didn't have it's non-recourse. That was part of the loan that you can't come after him personally.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, DeBartolo was the biggest mall owner in the country,
Mm-hmm.
and you'd loan money to Eddie DeBartolo because they got the cash.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so we got 2 DeBartolo malls back down in Florida, and I went in, and they're in there paying people to leave the mall. I go, no, hey, hang on here. No, whoa, Nelly. So I got people to buy out of their lease. And when I took over that mall, I got $375,000 in buyout so people could leave. I got the whole thing vacant. So what we did was we went to all the anchor department stores, put up a vapor barrier, and then demoed the whole mall. Because I told them, I go, look, this is only going to be vacant one time. So let's get the whole thing gutted. So when you're out there walking around, you can show people the plans, and if you're in a gutted mall, it's going to be something later because we got John Hancock's cash.
Well, you're a businessman, Henry. You're a businessman. You know construction. You know development. Now,
Well, hang on. Let me
ahead,
tell
go
the
ahead,
good part.
Go ahead.
The fun part was getting the first call center in line. We did a 152,000 square foot deal with General Motors.
Very good.
And what I loved about office leasing was not only did you get paid on the rent, you got paid on the construction allowance.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yes, sir. I do it all the time.
What I want to say, Henry, is and I told my wife this morning, with Kohl's talking about downsizing, Amazon has pretty much taken over. People have gotten comfortable and lax. I believe that the mall business needs to come back to some degree because we don't want to get too comfortable with Amazon. And then once the stores are gone, Kohl's are gone, and the stores are gone, what happens to Amazon? They raise the prices up. And you have no choice because now you can't go to the stores now because they're not there any longer. So we need to keep the stores here is all I'm trying to say. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, I was just thinking. No, I saw the internet coming. I started my shopwave.com at the exact same time Amazon was starting.
You have a product?
No, I was the developer. Well, I did have one product. I sold computers.
Okay.
And what I did, and I sold websites.
Okay.
And I sold secure serving.
Okay, you had a good business.
Yeah, it was called shopwave.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the first Lionel train site. Now, this is 94, 95.
Oh, wow. You was right there when it came.
Yeah, I mean, we had to invent this thing. And I'm not a programmer,
It was called.
but I was smart enough to understand. I saw it in my head. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
You just see it, right?
Right.
And so we're trying to figure out how to download merchandise on 14.4 modems.
You're right there in the boom. That was the boom in the 90s.
And so what I did was I bought an ISP. And what I did was I bought 40 66.6 modems. So we got rid of the last 14.4s and we had some 33.3s. And so we came in and now we got 60 dial-up lines and 40 of them are the brand new. And we got rid of the 14.4s. And then I had a pipeline 50 running between my house and the ISP. And I had Andy in there programming Shopwave.
You have a lot of technology guys that work for you.
Yeah, I mean, I understood it and I could
But,
see it.
But they had to create it for you.
Yeah, because I got a day job.
Yeah, now.
I'm still in the mall business.
Yeah, now, the stuff, I can somewhat relate to what you're referring to.
Yeah.
Because I did not go to the Silicon Valley as my counterparts had told me to do, which I regret today. There's a lot that I still don't know, and some of the stuff even that you're referring to.
Well,
but I would love that we could bring some of those people here, give them some funds, let them open up shop, let our young people. You say you want to keep. They say they want to keep them here. Well, if you want to keep them here, you got to understand how.
Hey, the real entrepreneurs are down in the county jail that's selling drugs. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So,
well, anyway,
yeah.
No, so hang on.
Yeah.
So some pinhead guy in Calcutta accused me of not knowing anything about secure serving and retail on the mall or on the internet. And what I did is I caught this guy because he'll give you a starter set at $1,000, but then he'll nick you in extras and, raise the bill up. I mean, Calcutta actually has, think about it, one town has 60 million people.
Yes.
And there's so much offshore people that will work at lower rates.
Yes.
But then it's part of it is the cultural. Who are you really dealing with? I'm trying. So I'm gonna I've got a media company that's got some clients, and I've got one guy that works in the Philippines that I really like. If he just show up to work, it's like he gets a little money, and then no, he a friend of mine said the average.
Pay more, Henry. Pay more.
No, hang on a second here. Hang on. So an average Filipino salary is $5 a day.
Okay.
And I'm paying the dude $10 an hour. He's making more than doctors, And plus, I paid him so much in advance. I got a heart, but you.
So you understand technology is what it's sounding like here.
Well, that was one of the things that got me on this Net Park Tampa Bay.
Very good.
Because I understood technology.
Very good.
So we got this. We were going to build a home for call centers. So then what we did later, my instructions were to put a food court in. We put a gym. I put a computer learning. And next thing you know, my boss takes my job because he starts having sex with the asset manager at John Hancock.
Well.
And so I can't compete with that.
No.
And then
not at all.
They put me on the crummy retail.
Unless you want to be one of them funny boys.
No. Well, she was, she was good from afar, but far from good.
Right.
Anyway.
I understand exactly what that means.
But anyway, that's not a good way to make money.
No,
you know what I mean?
That's correct. That's correct.
But that project alone, it's known as one of the best conversions of malls to office. And the mall.
That's a lot. I'm sorry, I couldn't catch. I don't know if the viewers caught all that or not, but that's a lot what you said.
Yeah.
And it's a lot to comprehend.
And it was a
But
beautiful
it sounds
mall.
like
It was a
it's,
beautiful
but
renovation.
you've been in the mall business for how long?
Since '83.
Long time.
Yeah.
So to you, it's like second,
Well, that's like third generation. So
mhm.
at Macerich, we were called the mall
Yeah.
doctors.
So Henry, it appears to me that you have a lot of experience here, and it was kind of like a blessing for me to run into you that day,
It was a God thing.
and we just have to figure out how we can use your experience, and like I say, the experience I have, like I said, um, not just from my business or from me going to school, but also in the arena of aviation. My brother is the captain and of the airlines, Delta. It used to be.
Man, I'm a platinum level million miler on Delta. I love Delta.
Yes.
200
Yes.
no, 400, 255, 48. That's my frequent flyer number.
Yes.
Man, I lived on Delta.
Yes,
That was a fun time.
And like I say, my father created the pilot school.
We were talking about that in the early show.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Forbes is our number one asset that we don't and I don't know if Curtis Sneaden's smart enough to figure it out.
Well, during the years that my father was there, he had security benefit, Fleming's, Evergy. He had a lot of AT&T. They're all four of their planes coming in from Texas. He was able to build it up. However,
so he had a private.
He had his private. He had a twin engine.
What do they call it?
He had a twin engine.
It's got a code, not
but
ground base operation.
Yeah, he was an FBO. Fixed base operator for 36 years. And
acronym.
When I don't know if you were here then, but when Flying Tiger came in here, I don't know if you were here back then.
No, I wasn't here. But
you heard about.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I was here.
Flying Tigers, you hear about them?
Yeah, and we screwed the pooch. Well, they didn't come.
Well, they did come.
Oh.
I fueled 11 to 7.
Oh.
I fueled their aircraft. They had 50 aircraft flew it every night during the wintertime. However, at that time, from what my father indicated to me, because I asked a lot of questions, as you see, the chamber wanted control, and they wanted to have firsthand talks with the Flying Tiger people. And the Flying Tiger people said, no, we want to deal with Jim, my father.
Oh, wow.
Because he has the fuel.
Yeah.
So
why was the chamber sticking their nose in?
The chamber's job was to create the beltway to get the cargo moving from out of there to the destinations. At that time, you didn't have much like the UPS or back in 79. I don't know.
79, I just started selling real estate.
Okay. 79, that's when I went to school, so it must have been 78 or 76. So the chamber's job was to move, once they got here, the luggage, or not the luggage, the
cargo.
The cargo. Excuse me, Henry.
It's okay.
Chamber's job was to move that cargo along. And so from what I understood is they screwed that up. And so that's when the Flying Tiger said, okay.
We're out here. They left?
They left.
Because of the chamber.
Well, my dad, you see, I'm a black man. My dad's a black man from Mississippi, Quitman, Mississippi, poor man. But he pulled himself up from his bootstraps.
No, you're telling me that it's a racist thing?
I'm telling you that the chamber did not accept my dad. So yes, that's what I'm telling you. And so the chamber is who's controlling things. The chamber. And Topeka will always be under the same as long as they're in control. The mayor didn't tell you, and he didn't tell me that when he got the half-cent sales tax, he was going to sign a contract with the chamber. Go Topeka and Greater Topeka Partnership. Who do they work with, Henry?
Themselves.
The chamber.
Yeah.
Do they rent their building out from the chamber? Let me put it that way.
No. Well, yeah.
Okay, and also
And they rent it out from a guy that doesn't pay his taxes.
And also, when these deals from Target, when these deals, before they're even, these people in the chamber know about them, right? And they're able to go out and get the land.
Hey, look, I tried to compete against the chamber on 49th Street.
They get the land. They buy the land from this poor farmer that doesn't know what's getting ready to come down the pipeline. They get the land from this poor farmer. They get it real cheap.
No, that's bullshit.
No,
they paid everybody a premium.
Hold on a minute.
Okay.
They get it cheap. And once they get it, when Target comes in, they sell to them for 10 times the amount they got.
Well, let's go over all that.
Go ahead.
Because
go ahead. If I'm wrong, correct me, Henry.
Yeah, because
correct me, Henry. Were you a part of that deal?
Yeah.
Oh, you were part. Okay, well, I might have stepped on your toes.
No, it's okay. But I had I was trying to do a public-private partnership back then. And I had 190 acres under development agreement. And
I didn't mean to step on your toes.
They squeezed me out.
I didn't mean to step on your toes.
No, and I'm telling you, I sold some land to Go Topeka. It was a great payday for me and my client, my friends. But, you know, Bill Haynes, who was a city councilman.
Tell me, why are you not with the chamber today, Henry?
I've never want. I want to be my own guy.
Okay, you want to be your own guy now. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Because I got pissed off at him for doing me wrong on 49th Street.
Well, why did they get pissed off at you, Henry?
Because I speak up.
Okay. Said something.
I can do it better than them.
Said something maybe that.
I can do it better than them every day of the week.
Okay. I like you, Henry. Anyhow.
No, they did me wrong.
Henry McClure lied. Like I said, none of this is made up.
No, man, they did me wrong. And it was.
And they've done me wrong.
It was done artfully too.
On a smaller level.
They had some land, the Wilsey land. They go in and talk to this real estate guy named Dick May, and they go because so look, I had to send them. I could send them redacted because in that fucking cook. Do you have the authority? Do you have the authority to deal with them? You must have the authority.
Yes, sir.
Yes. You know, Kevin Cook talking to me about the authority.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you give all your contracts to the chamber. You could redact some of it, but they had to know you had the authority to deal with them.
You heard it live here on the Henry McClure. Is it the Glass House?
This is the Glass House studio.
Yeah. Right here. Okay.
But they did me wrong.
Are you still wanting to give them some more, the viewers more, or is that enough for the day?
Here, hang on a second here.
Oh, he's got more for you.
No, look at this.
He's got more for you.
Look at this right here. So.
You want me to hold that for you?
Here it is. You can't see it, but look at that. You can see it.
Well, I don't have. Let me put my glasses on, Henry.
So I sold him this land right here.
Oh, this is right here then. Okay.
Yeah. So you asked me if I was a part of it.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to call it Planet Kansas.
Okay.
Land here. Now Elon Musk would like that. Come on, man. Elon, my man. No, Elon, my man. Planet Kansas. Land here. Yeah, land here. We could be landing spaceships. Think about it. He could land stuff right there. It's in the flight line, but we can find you land to land those rockets. But so no, I had all this under a development agreement. Now they accused me. Joe Ledbetter always used to say they bought that from me to shut me up. Well, they didn't. Maybe they did. But so down there is 53rd Street.
Yes.
And so what they did was they intentionally, down here, down on that end, they intentionally put the front door there, and I was trying to get them to pay 49th Street so I'd have shovel-ready land. And then you could either break right or break left, and you had my land and their land. But the chamber wanted to turn their back on me. They went down there, and no, they were terrible. They were terrible to work with. So look, I didn't just one day wake up and hate the chamber and the system.
No, I didn't either.
It did me wrong.
Well, that's what I was saying about my father.
That's why I don't like them. They did me wrong. And it was an organized effort.
And
I want to get, you know what? I want the people to know, but I also want the people to decide. I want to find that 40,000 people. But look, here's another thing about it. Let's say we're just never going to change. Well, quit taxing us and saying we're going to change. Put that economic development money just into the roads. You didn't know all that, did you? That I was a part of it. I was trying, because Topeka doesn't really, it was the wrong guy. Now, if it had been Klossman or Foster back then, they might have got the deal. They might have got the work, but they didn't want to work with Henry McClure.
And why was that, Henry?
Because I wasn't part of their club.
Okay.
I left for 18 years.
Okay, very good.
I left for 18 years and I came back. And I'm telling you, Topeka was not nice to me when I came back. The other brokers, the KS commercial guys, they were terrible.
Maybe they feared you, Henry.
But I had Anderson money back then. And you know,
anybody that's going to do what's right, it seems like the devil is in the details. Put it that way. To do what's right means to go out of the way, because why is that, Henry? I mean, we just want this city to be a beautiful city. We just want we want the people to flourish.
Look, it goes right back to where you opened the show about people just trading the money around amongst themselves. And I was like the new guy back in town. You know, I wasn't a member of the Topeka Country Club, and I didn't qualify.
Well, that's exactly what's going on.
You know, a lot of people didn't like my dad either because he was a powerful lawyer. That could be that. People hold a grudge.
Well, they do, Henry.
They hold a grudge.
That was the same thing with me.
There's resentments.
My dad told me, he said, James, he said, it's not you.
Hell,
That's me, son.
Think about my grandfather that integrated the schools. The white folk didn't like him. My dad said so. What are you doing? Integrating the schools. Well, it's a Brown versus Board, as the Supreme Court said we're going to do it.
The beauty of it, Henry, is...
So McClure has been an interesting name.
The beauty of it is, Henry, is that this will never end.
Yeah, it can. It can.
No, it will never end.
No, it will end.
Men have been fighting amongst one another.
Well,
men have been fighting amongst one another since the beginning of time.
Okay, can I tell you why it will end?
Now, the key of it is, in my readings through the biblical, King David, which was the shepherd boy, became the king. He followed the Lord, and the people were happy. Is that correct?
Well, you know the Bible maybe a little better than me.
Under King David's empire. King David was not perfect. He had married Bathsheba, which he had sent Bathsheba's husband out to the front line to be killed, so he can marry. She was a beautiful woman. He
got rid of Bathsheba?
No, he got rid of her husband.
Oh.
because
He had eyes on
he had
Bathsheba.
eyes on Bathsheba.
Hey, Bathsheba, call me later. 785-383-9994.
All right.
You know why I think Topeka can change?
Yes, sir.
Because I did.
Very good.
You know,
And I've changed.
I've had divine intervention from my drug addiction.
And I've changed.
And so here's a guy that has lived through change. That's why I don't think it's an insurmountable change. I think we can do it.
Well, yeah.
But we just got to change the people.
Yes.
It's like Topeka's like a drug addict and alcoholism.
We have to remove those people.
Yeah.
Because they have been in charge.
They're the drug
forever.
Yeah. So we got to.
They're drunk on money.
Yeah. You got to get power. And power. So like when you recover, well, you don't go hang around with the same people anymore.
That's correct. That's correct.
And that's what we got to do. We got to get the bartenders out of government. You know, they're out there drunk on power, drunk on spending money, and they don't know how to do it. Now think about this. $3.5 million to shrink down Huntoon. Huntoon works today.
Was that a good investment?
No. No, but it's Bartlett and West. And one of the guys that sits up there on the council is Bartlett and West. And I just want to know, I'd love to know how much money was funneled to Bartlett and West over Neil Dobler's rule.
That's what we want to change in the city of Topeka.
Well, I tell you what, I changed engineering firms, and I've got a good one. Oh, yeah.
You've got me tearing up. And
Oh, shit.
You got me tearing up, and you've got me wired, which is a good thing, because very few people can get me to laugh, Henry.
Oh, well, I love to laugh because, man, laughter's the best medicine, but Topeka would make you cry. Topeka would bring tears to your eyes.
Good tears or bad tears, Henry?
Well, you know, I say it somewhat in jest, but I understand my drug addiction and alcoholism. It was easier to escape in a bar or in the bottle than really face Topeka.
Well, Henry, I'll talk to you about that later because you don't want to let the devil know what your weaknesses are because he'll come at you.
Oh, well, it's too late.
That's why I can't. You're strong. You're a strong man.
It's too late. You can't get me.
Yeah.
You can't get me.
You
See, I'm not afraid to live right.
Yes. You're saying that you have overcome, is what you're saying.
With the power of the Lord.
Amen, brother.
Amen.
And that's who you want in your as your leader, because he answers to the Lord. There was a man that said something the other day, and I'm not going to say his name, but he said,
"Why not?"
Well, because I don't want to start that with you. But he said that I asked him, well, do they going to do what you tell them? He said, yeah. He said, and then he made a mistake today, and he said that, and I could be wrong, but it appeared to me as though I answered to no one. Well, I answer to the Lord.
Amen.
See?
Well, and your wife.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. She keeps me. I thank God because I asked the Lord for a good wife. That's what I did. I don't mind sharing because that's what my mother had and my father were wise people. I was very blessed to have a mother and father that loved their children to the point to where they made them work as hard as my dad and mom made me work.
You know what I learned about work early? If you didn't have to ask anybody for money, you had a good life.
That's correct.
Yeah, I learned that early.
That's correct. And
you know what I like about talking to you?
No.
You keep it real.
Yeah.
You do. You keep it real.
And we're going to make it for the citizens. See, I like you have done some traveling. And because, when you live in Topeka and you grow up, you think Topeka is the biggest place. place
Huh.
until you leave. And then you come back and say, well, it's the littlest place.
I just wasn't going to raise my daughter in LA. And then I come back to, this is like Mayberry to me after all the places
Sure.
I've been and
Sure.
traveled.
Sure.
Hey, we've been at this,
Yes. Yes.
and I got to make a trip to the Sandbox.
good,
So we
very
got to
good.
we got to either take a commercial break, for the Ryan Mowinkle empire of commercial real estate, which I've got 1,084 feet available for lease down yonder, and you can get your all your insurance needs helped by Ryan Mowinkle. But I need to take a little break. All right.
All right.
Hey, thank you for being
Thank
on the
you,
show.
City Topeka, and we love you.
We got to find 40. I love you, and I love you too, brother.
I love
We
you
got to
too.
find 40,000 people. That's our calling,
That's our calling today.
and we got to find people to throw their hat in the ring. Go down to the election commission there on Croy and talk to Andrew Howe.
All we can do today is tell you what we visualize as the problem. If you want to make this city a great city, then, as they said, there's a slogan that Kennedy
You
said.
can wrap it up. I gotta
Well, help me with
go
the
to
slogan.
the Sandbox real quick.
Okay, well, go ahead.
You
Go
keep
ahead.
talking.
Go ahead.
Then we can go on after I go to the bathroom.
Well, Kennedy said a slogan.
Which Kennedy?
JF. He said, don't ask what your government can do for you, but what can you do for your government? What can you do for your government? Don't wait around. Get involved. Make a difference. It's your children that's coming up. We are old. We have experienced life. We have seen the things in life. We're here today to share with you our experiences. If we are successful, we will open up the doors for your children and for yourselves and for your ideas. Because there's nothing worse than to let a good mind go to waste. There's nothing worse than to let a good mind go to waste. You don't have to be rich to have an IQ of 140. You don't have to be rich to have an idea. We want to take your ideas to the next level. We want to enjoin you because your ideas could be the ideas that could create the next cancer cure. Or help me out, Henry. Your ideas can create the next
Lower property taxes.
That's a good one.
You might know the guy that should actually be buying the hotel.
Since we're speaking of property taxes, I want to go here with you. If we have more debt than revenue coming in, now I understood that the city employees about 128 million, and I believe they have revenues of 400 something million. Now, whoever will take the job of mayor is going to walk into a situation to where they're going to have a lot of debt. Now, I don't know
$500 million.
I don't know where this debt comes from. Do you?
Yeah, we can find out. We'll do a core request.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that for the next show.
All right.
All right. Sweet potato pies. Now, I won't tell you the name of the sweet potato because
That's a Sam's Club.
I know, but there's a special name for this particular kind. See, there's a particular kind of sweet potato that we use that made our pies the best.
You know what I like?
Mm-hmm.
I like the Japanese sweet potatoes.
Okay, well.
Have you ever had one?
No.
Oh, man. You can get them at that grocery store over on 21st Street.
Well, I may take a look at that.
No, man. They're purple.
I'm not in the pie business no more.
But it's like eating candy.
But yeah.
All right, I'm ready to wind down.
What time is it, Henry?
it's 20 of 3 o'clock.
Well, we're about about an hour and a half. That's not bad. 2 hours last time. Very good. Are we still live or you?
Yeah, we're still live.
Well,
We
you
can
go
we
ahead.
can keep
Well,
going.
no, you can go ahead and shut it down.
We're in an hour and a half.
Yeah, unless you've got something else, go ahead. I'll just listen.
No. So we're going to go back 1 o'clock on
Yes,
Saturday?
I want to try to do that.
So look, we're going to come back weekly at 1.
That's the goal.
All right, we got a show.
But you're the boss, so you.
I'm not the boss. We'll
have the
see you
final word
next Saturday.
at 1 o'clock.
But you can come by and do a show whenever.
Well,
We can make your commercials.
We're gonna take it one step at a time.
Did you see my commercials that I made for?
Because I'm wanting change, and this
Go to my YouTube channel, and you can see my commercial that I made.
Very good.
I'll show it to you after the show. All right, Henry McClure live.
James Balden.
He's alive. Junior.
Thank you, Henry.
Running for mayor.